From the WGO, how you doing, Shaun?
I'm doing good. How about you, Matt?
Good. On this episode, last episode, I introduced you to Abram Hicks or Esther Hicks.
Yeah, Abram Hicks.
Different way to view things. And basically, that was just a recap of that is you just find positive things to focus on and not worry about the negative, but generalize it so it's not so specific that you start thinking negative thoughts about it.
So it's almost like you have flexibility with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like money comes to me easily sometimes.
Right.
It's all in the smaller words or like or I like to have fun in general. And then or my favorite song is usually play on the radio.
Well, I thought it was gonna be
like that.
I thought it was going to be Cyndi Lauper. Girls like to have fun.
Girls do like to have fun.
Well, I guess.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
At least in that song.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they like to definitely go shopping. That's for sure.
On this episode, I want to talk about how furthering your mind, like kind of defining success and mindset together for men, leading into how you can, if you're progressing towards something, like you set a goal to learn something new. Like in the last 2 years, I started learning more techniques about building websites and video editing. And I started watching YouTube videos, which most people do that. And then you listen to a bunch of people telling you what to do, how to make money. And you're like, and then they tell you to post on all these platforms 7 times a day. And then if you get stuck trying to do that, you start getting depressed because you work so hard or you're trying to figure everything out. And it's frustrating because everything's new.
Right.
And especially being in the middle of our lives, not born into like tablets and computers, but basically like home computers didn't come around until 95, 96. And then
it's funny you say that because I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day and couple of thoughts on what you're saying. I think we got the intro now is the first part. I'll use that one phrase that I borrowed from my friend that we'll talk about more tonight. Is, his grandfather said that we're all human beings, but at the end of the day, if you spell, human being backwards, we just need to be humans. And I think with what you're saying is it kind of gets your energy going up because we got so many things that we have access to, right? We got tablets, we've got learning. And from what I'm hearing from you, it's almost like sometimes you can get so many things going that it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I've done the same thing. There's things that I've looked at, like, for example, podcasting. And it's like, man, it's just like, it's almost like overkill, right? My head, actually, I get a headache because there's so many things and there's so much knowledge out there and ways of doing something. That's what made me think about, we're human beings, but just being human is really what we need to do, I think, to get striving for that balance in life, whatever that is for us,
Yeah. And so in that respect, if you spread yourself out too thin, then you're not learning the right things, or you're moving on too quickly to really get the best results from trying something new. And so I do that myself all the time. But every time I've stuck with something that I like to do, I've prospered way more doing that than if I force myself to learn something I don't want to do.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Through listening through like Joe Rogan or even Tony Robbins or a lot of influential people, they tell you to focus on one thing and go for it. And then if that doesn't work, then pivot just a little bit and go for that. And keep going until you find your niche.
Okay. Almost like what we were talking about earlier before we came on the air. And the other part, I was talking about my friend Alex, whose granddad was the Indian medicine man. And what's interesting, it's funny how every time we get on the air, our topics just like come right together, right?
Yeah. And that's part of law of attraction.
Right. And that's what he was talking about before when I was in the car. He was talking about how his grandfather, the medicine man, would always take them on trips, but he could never he could never say no. In other words, they would be driving and Alex was telling me, he'd say, hey, grandpa, don't stop this time.
Right.
But his grandpa would use stopping to help somebody, even if just for a minute, as a way to show them about how when you give to people and you do these things that you find what we were talking about, you find the joy, sometimes you can find enlightenment and happiness and contentment because you're doing something to bring light to other people.
Right.
Yeah. And he talked about how you've got to take the time and not be rushing all the time.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Basically like slow down, focus, and find. So if you're going to try podcasting, check out the top podcasters, see how they structured their podcast and their intro and how they finish and how they ask questions.
Right.
And then find someone that you like and see if they have any materials where they actually teach how they started. And then basically if you follow someone that already did what you want to do, it's much easier than trying to reinvent the wheel.
It's like in some of the sales training things that we've all done, we won't mention the names of those groups. They call it duplicating. You're duplicating with that person or being coachable, mentored, whatever.
Yeah. So you're basically just choosing a mentor and following their path.
Yeah.
And if it's not working out, then pivot a little bit.
Right.
Choose a different mentor.
So it's almost like a Pikachu, right? I choose you, or however that cartoon goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Pikachu, right?
Pikachu.
Yeah.
I Pikachu or Pikachu.
I can't remember.
But like one way to really expand, if you want to keep expanding and broadening your mind, which is good, a good mental health state, because you're focusing on something else rather than dwelling on something you can't change.
Right.
By learning something, you could change things.
Well, and it's interesting you're bringing all these things. My brain's racing again, because one of the things I see a lot with the population, and we've talked, quite a bit about the epidemic in America with mental health and the whole mind-body thing, is that, and this is just one man's opinion. So like I said, I'm not a professional. You might have some psychologist or therapist or whatever saying, no, that's not right. But in my journey working with people, and I'm sure with yours and even our sound guy over here, is that people, I notice, have a tendency, and we all do it. I'm not just saying people that have struggles in whatever areas with their mind, body, fitness stuff.
Yeah.
Is that they get focused on things, right? So in other words, a lot of times there's a place for visiting trauma and the past. Yeah. But my personal opinion in the mental health field is I think many times people just get so focused that they can't get out of their self. If that makes any sense. And so
saying stuck in a
rut. And so what I see is that it's like, you've heard me use the word on here, maybe I've used it on here. People are like on a hamster wheel, right? They're doing training on resiliency. They're doing training on trauma, and they're doing all this stuff, right? But we're not backing up, and we're not just being human, right?
Yeah.
Even though we're human beings again, and I'll probably use that a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And we're getting stuck in a rut. Exactly. And so you never quite make a lot of progress. You might make the outcomes that the therapist has for you, or you might build a skill. But then what I notice is that people aren't getting out and doing things for other people, right? Even though they have mental struggles, mental health struggles, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I see is one of the biggest problems in America right now, is that we're kind of a nation of narcissists. I'll just be blunt. We all are. We're all guilty of that. I'm guilty as charged. We all. And I think because of all the things, especially what happened again with the pandemic, I think it just kind of blew it up,
Yeah.
And like a bomb going off, and it's just made it's worse. And then again, when we get back to balance, every minute we're inundated with news and news. It's like flashing your hands like a light flashing, turning it on and off.
Yeah.
And I think everybody sees that. I think it's a universal that we see that, because again, if we're just being humans, we're universal, right? So we pretty much have the same way we think, more or less, right?
Yeah.
Down the road, it might be different. And the same thing I think that happens in people's lives. But I think what is easy, and I'm speaking to myself as I'm saying this, we get focused on our story, but we forget that most things in our life are very similar in some way.
Right.
Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a different story, but the things that we go through, I'm talking about in general. I'm not talking, I mean, some people have like things off the charts,
like,
you know, and you know, things that get in the movies and things, but I'm just saying in general, the general basic things in life, I think things are very similar. It's just a different story or a little different circumstance here and there.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like really highly energized and catastrophic, you know, I mean, that obviously that's a whole different deal, but
like everybody wakes up to go to work. Everybody gets in the car to drive to their job or to telecommute, and they have to clock in, and they have lunch at a certain time, and they drop their kids off at a certain time, and they pick their kids up at a. So there's like a routine. That
that's a good way to put it. Like a basic
people
balance of routine, you know, and we all have like the fight or flight in our lives as we go through these things that we do. The mundane things that we do every day is different things can trigger different things. And make it go a different way. So excuse me if I'm scratching my throat tonight a little bit, but it's kind of like you might have something, right, that happens, but then I might have something that's similar, right? Like take relationships, for example, with the whole mind body thing, you know, and again, go back to fight or flight. We all have emotions. Like I'm sure your wife could push the right button to get you where something else could happen from somebody else that they do something and it doesn't push your button, right?
Right. And a good example of that is like my daughter will be in the back seat of the car, and if this happened today on the way here, I was dropping her off at daycare, and my wife called, and my daughter was yelling, "Mom, Mom," and she was trying to tell me something important, and I couldn't hear my wife talking, and so I got frustrated with my daughter yelling over the phone, and I'm like, just calm down, be quiet.
Oh, yeah, you said the magic.
So then
word,
all of a sudden I'm worked up just a little bit. But then my tone with my wife, she's having a good day.
Right.
You know, and my day wasn't ruined or anything, but it was just a moment, is literally a 30-second. But my tone with my wife, she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I was just Hannah." She's like, "Oh, okay." But for a minute, she thought maybe I was mad at her or something, just from a circumstance that you're talking about. And so a lot of people can misconstrue that and ruin someone else's mindset. So like, say I didn't tell my wife about my daughter yelling in the background where I couldn't hear, and I'm driving and trying to pay attention, and that my wife gets off the phone and then starts talking to her mom. Matt's being weird. I don't know what's up with him. And then it continues from there. Right. It's a snowball.
Yeah. You just picked a fight there, brother. You can do that, right?
For no reason.
It's kind of the same thing. Like even like with my colleagues and things that I worked with in the mental health field, like we would work in an acute setting, then we might have a rehab setting. And so one of the things we'd have to deal with kind of like that is we would have, you know, members that are in our program that we were working with that would act with the same thing would happen. So it would be like, here's an example. So you'd be there and you have all these trainings where you have to keep, you know, yourself, we use the word grounded. Yeah. And then you could have people, you know, spitting at you. You could have people throwing feces, you know, and it doesn't phase us, right? Because, but then you could have that phone conversation with your spouse or your kid. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they just press that one little button and it's like, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I do this all day. I got people that I'm dodging people swinging at me. Yeah. And then they do that, you know, and then it's on right at home. Yeah. Kind of the same thing. Yeah. It's funny how that works, but that, again, that's because that's our human. It's our nature, you know, persona, and
it's the poke and react.
Yeah. It's like
sequence.
Poking the bear, as I call it. Or like my one youngest will say, you know who I'm talking about. He'll be like, "Hey, Dad, are you doing okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Is everything all right?" And he'll say, and he'll do it, and he does it to mess with me, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, and then I'm like, "Yes, I'm fine." And he's like, "Oh, well, you don't sound too good right now." And I'm like, "Would you stop?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just, you know, effing with you, Dad." Yeah. You know, and it's like that thing. And he'll always do it. He's like a skilled ninja bear poker, you know, that likes to poke the bear, and he'll always do it.
And it offsets your mental balance.
Yes, he'll always do it when I'm watching an action movie and I'm like into it, right? You know, sudden impact or something, and then he'll start poking. Yeah. And then he'll try to mess with that, you know. Yeah. and he'll do it right when I'm the tiredest part of the day. It's like he's like a I don't know, like a leech, you know. He likes to leech on me. I don't know, man.
Or his law of attraction that he wants to mess with people.
He ain't attracted to me when he starts doing that stuff, you know. It's like, dude, go away for a while.
Fly. You're like,
you're like a fly, you know, like a fly swatter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So basically, in that sense, if you choose a thing that you want to progress forward in your life to better yourself, you're better off trying something new than trying to just worry about dodging your son all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because if you focused on that every day at a certain time, you're like, you're just anticipating that feeling or that reaction.
Yeah.
But if you were hiding somewhere, learning something new, then you're forgetting about someone poking the bear.
Well, when he likes to poke more at me as his older brother, and you know which one I'm talking about. That stuff's really funny sometimes, like Family Guy. So but you're right. And I think focusing or learning something new, like for example, we were talking about the app Udemy. I think that's how it's said. And what I love about that, and we're talking about how you can, you know, enhance your career with it. There's so many things. I got, you know, I think tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different things you can learn on there. And I know I use that. Like I'm doing some courses on there now, but you had another point that you made earlier about not getting so many things going. So like I still have some that I signed up for that it's been a year. And matter of fact, I got a calendar book that I want to sit down and try to figure a time how I can start knocking those out. But I really like those kind of things because they're inexpensive. If you get them, you know, you can get them for, you know, sometimes as low as
it's like 11,
12, $15.
Yeah.
You know, when they've been marked down from like 100 or something, depending on what it is. But there's great things on there. And what's nice about it is it's cost effective, and you are learning real courses from people that actually have developed the course itself, right? They're the teachers.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's more personable. And I like it. It's almost like you're there doing hands-on, but you're not. You know, you're doing it on your laptop, or I do it on my phone most of the time.
Yeah, I do it on my phone.
And I use it when I drive, you know, when I'm going to work. And that really helps. And so that's the kind of things I think are good, like you said, or whatever, if it's gardening or, you know, again.
Anything that you want to learn.
Doing podcasts like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of
like
stuff.
I've done that. I've done photography, video. And it just keep expanding and trying to move forward. And what the funny thing is, one thing will lead into another thing in your life.
Yeah.
Because it's like the law of attraction. You start out, like I started out with photography. And I always loved it in high school and everything, but I wasn't that good. And then I delved into that. And then that turned into video. And I was like, well, it's along the same lines. And then that turned into social media marketing. And then that turned into meeting someone that taught me how to write books. And I started writing books. And doing video and doing. So then I started using video and social media to promote the books I wrote. And then that turned into a podcast, like a video podcast. And then I loved podcasting so much that involves all of it.
Yeah, so then, it's like you started off and now you got your niche. You know?
And then that turned into sound design, like sound engineering and mixing and editing sound. So you could edit videos, but then the whole other side is learning how to edit like tracks and audio tracks and everything.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing. So I took courses on that and still learning.
Yeah.
And it just keeps expanding. Like you just keep going, and then started doing more websites and,
movies, right?
Yeah, and now it's movies. So and that involves everything I learned. So
who knows? Maybe we'll be the next John Ford or something, right? Or you know,
we're filming next Sunday.
Yeah,
so.
I'll be there.
Okay, sounds good. You could bring your son that likes to poke the bear if you want. If he wants
is
to.
Is that the youngest one or the?
The youngest.
Yeah, you should send. You should talk to him. He's a big goofball. He'd probably like that. You need to get the bear though. You need to get him out there.
We're gonna have a shootout scene. So.
Oh yeah, I like that. So.
It'll be
Yeah.
A few people have to die in that one, but
that's all right.
It'll be fun for everyone.
Yeah. So. As you were talking about your niche and all these different things that you're working on and what people can do, it made me think of like the word neural pathway, almost like you have like these trails in your brain, and as you expand things, it just keeps building, and you keep getting these lines that are going all over the place, you know?
Yeah. And it's never boring now. Like, but I have friends that just go home from work and they'll play video games. Or I have another friend that just goes home and with his kids, and they have dinner at 6 p.m. and they get them ready for bed at 7:30 to 8 and read them a story at 8:30, and then they watch a show, and then they go to bed and wake up and go to work. Yeah. And that's 5 days a week.
Wow. And then that's no fun.
Then the weekends they take the kids to play at a tumbling thing, and then
every week?
Every week.
Wow. That's tough. And then wow.
It's so repetitive. I'm like, you should come be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Do some or go golfing, and it's hard to the routine is set in stone almost.
Yeah, that's
like people get
set in their ways. What it made me think of was that movie The Truman Show, how everything was the same thing every day until they discovered that there's more life outside of the fake set, you know? Right.
And so I think by expanding your mind or your knowledge, you might meet someone that you have something in common with that you never would have had the year prior if you didn't expand.
Well, kind of like us meeting, and I don't even know how here we are. I don't even know, you know.
Yeah, it's like came full circle. It's like 13 years, 14 years.
Law of attraction thing, right? Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting how the world can pull you to certain people, and then you start your own path with that person and that person, and then if you keep going and you don't look back, all of a sudden you're like, how did I do all that?
Yeah.
And people ask you, how did you do all that? But it's not about telling them what you're doing. It's about showing them when you're done.
Right. The end result. Yeah. I like that. So for your path, as you've been building this up over the years, were you always kind of that type of person that wanted to discover things, or did you kind of evolve into it?
Well, my dad always had restaurants, and I was born in restaurants. So he taught me to like kind of be my own person, think for myself type of thing, and not let someone tell me how much they're going to pay me.
Right.
Type of thing. So, but for a long time after I left the restaurants for a while, I started like a cell phone business. And then I got in too late where they had like faceplates for the Nokia phones.
Oh, right.
And I bought like 500 faceplates for like $2 each, and I'd sell them for 20 bucks on eBay. And then all of a sudden, like 6 months after I got the faceplates, they came out with like their first iPhone.
Oh, no.
Right. So no one bought the Nokia phones anymore. So I was stuck with like 300 faceplates. That I just basically threw away.
Probably see you at the auction, right? Denials auction.
Yeah.
10 bucks.
Yeah. And then I had and then I bought like 100 chargers for one phone and another one. And then I realized that I didn't even know 100 people that have that phone. Right.
Right.
So it's like you learn all these things through doing. And if you're trying, I should have gotten to work for someone that has a cell phone store, or kind of did something so I could learn about ordering. Cause I was all gung ho as my first thing that I was doing by myself type of thing.
Right.
And, I spent like a few $1,000s on all this merchandise, and I literally only sold like 10% of it.
Wow.
But I made money towards the end because I figured it out. Just like any person starting a side hustle or something.
Yeah, but the failures are a good thing too, because if you hadn't failed, then you wouldn't be where you're at right now, probably, you know.
But going back to the learning on Udemy or some kind of platform where you could learn for nothing on YouTube.
Right.
If you just keep searching for the right thing and take one thing from one video and one thing from another video, you're expanding your mind. And eventually you come by somebody that adds a whole bunch of value that you understand or you click with that you would actually pay attention to more than others.
Right.
And that's the person I would invest more money or time into when it comes to something like that. But when I started my journey with photography, that led in a video that led to doing the video podcast, and which led to the movies, I didn't waste a bunch of money and stuff like the first time I started the cell phone business or something like that, because I actually took my time to learn from other people that talked about starting a video business or photography business or what kind of website you should have. So by just starting a certain path, you could learn a lot faster if you choose one, and then you can branch off.
Okay, makes sense.
But don't learn video and photography and
all these different
podcasting
things,
all at the same time, because where do you go?
One thing I always notice with you always got a smile on your face. I don't think I've never not seen you smiling when you're trying to be mean.
That's
but it's like you from what you're saying you've done, that's where when we first started talking tonight, where the joy and sharing experiences with people, that's probably why you're smiling.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Well, and plus I'm always learning something. So I'll even watch YouTube videos on how to do things on my cell phone. And then I learn how to do it, and then, or I even play around with apps or settings and go, oh, that didn't work. And then people that don't really get technology will ask me for help all the time. Like, can you help me fix this? And then I go in and I just do it.
Right.
It's hard for me to explain to people how to do it because I'm a visual.
Yeah,
I'm more visual.
I'm visual too.
I could show them, but I can't physically. Like if you held your phone over there, I couldn't tell you exactly what to do without seeing your screen.
Right. No, I'm visual too, visual and auditory.
That's why I said you got to find someone that teaches the way you would learn.
It's funny you were saying that. Something popped up the other day. What was I think it was on Google, because I always tell you I get on the Google News thing because I always got all kinds of stuff. And they had this thing where it was measuring your IQ, right?
Yeah.
How do they propose it? They said it was they had a term for it. But what was funny, so it's supposed to be a 3-minute thing, and then it was supposed to say if you had like 140 IQ or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And so I got on it, was doing it. And a lot of it was visual stuff,
Yeah.
And that was a little different because I'm not a mathematician, and I'm not, so I'm not sure, like, some people are just a whiz at that. I don't even know how to explain it, right? You either are or you're not.
Yeah, they could piece it together.
But what was funny is as I was getting through towards the end of it, I think I did. He had like 3 minutes to do the thing. And then, of course, they want to, it's not free.
They want to
so I'm like,
pay to get your results.
Yeah. And so, it kind of threw me off a little bit. I know there's other things on there that aren't, but it's kind of one of those things, measuring what your niche is and what, where you're good at things or whatever, that type of thing. So,
those are, so you got to be careful. That's why you kind of like check a few things out and then go, oh, I think I find that interesting. And then just set a goal to learn something new this week. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but if you have a goal and you start working towards it, that's the definition of success.
Right.
Because you're working towards something. It doesn't even matter if I start lots of things where I'm like, I don't even finish the courses or whatever. I'll just learn the things that I needed to learn.
Right.
And then I'm starting something else.
Right.
But then it all comes back around to where your brain just puts it, like if you set the goal, your brain will get you there. Like a servo mechanism. It just searches for, like, key things will stand out to you once you're focused on that goal.
And I think back with the law of attraction, I think a lot of things, we've talked about, how things can be predestined.
Yeah.
I think when I look deep, and I'm really looking deep at myself and doing some reflecting, I think a lot of this stuff we have, and like we can say it right now, like I can be saying, oh, I know I have this, but it's like you said, you have to get there to that place where you find whatever it is, that one thing, and then bring all these other little things together to make it one,
Yeah. And it just kind of, you're just expanding you.
Yeah.
Like, making yourself more valuable to yourself and to others. And you never know how it could turn out. And then one day you're like, looking back, you're like, I don't even know how I got here. Or,
that's what
it just took you.
That's what I admire about, like some of the people we both like, Joe Rogan and Tony Robbins. And like I said, I'm kind of a Russell Brand fan because he's funny, with the English.
Yeah, like
English sense of humor and, things like that. But you're right. And then you also had mentioned about the importance of like finding those certain people, right?
Yeah.
In whatever it is you're into that are going to motivate you and you're going to learn from versus all these other things on, what, be it YouTube or whatever it might be.
Yeah. And start mirroring what they do and see if it works. If it doesn't work for you, mirror something else. Or, And I think by doing that, men would have a clearer mindset.
Oh, yeah. Like, agreed.
Because they're not thinking about 10 different small things that irritate them or that they can't change. They're focusing on changing themselves. And essence, they change out. Everything changes.
Right.
Nothing stays the same. So you might as well change.
So instead of focusing on that Saturday and Sunday honeydew list that your wife or significant other has, don't just chill out, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Example. So like I don't usually do the dishes. My wife was doing the dishes the other night, and she's like, I got it in the morning. I'm like, no, I got it. I'll do it. And she's like, no, you don't have to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to help, And she's kind of looking at me like, and I could tell because I don't usually do that, but I think it's that kind of thing, where I'm not thinking about having to do it like you were just saying. And then,
you just did it.
I have all these things and it's on my mind. And exactly. It flowed.
Yeah. So basically that's why I'm always happy, because I just go with the flow per se.
Like, I like that.
I don't sweat the small things.
Right.
If something like my daughter yelling and creating that little moment, it was 2 seconds. And then afterwards I was joking with her and she was talking. I'm like, but hold on. And and kind of like making fun of it, and she was happy and everybody was happy and my wife was happy and came on the show. Oh, that was a comment that I wanted to make. I wanted to always play like a mafia bad guy in the movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so when we started making our first movie 3 years ago, I wanted to be the bad guy. Like I wanted to be like a hitman or something. And so we tried having me be like serious and I couldn't stop smiling. And so I was like, it wouldn't work for the first movie. So I'm only in it like probably
kind of like the Joker, right?
Like I just couldn't stop smiling. I couldn't be serious enough to be like pissed off or anything like that. So I'm kind of like the deranged happy killer.
Yeah, that'd be like Joker.
So
be like,
kind of like just like kill it. Like when I do a hit or something, I have a smile on my face because it has like clarity, or I'm getting rid of the trash type of thing.
Right.
But so even if I just look forward to being happy.
That's a good thing.
As much as possible. That's my main. So if someone asks me what do I do, just try to be happy. That's my answer.
There you go.
Go from there. And then, do you have anything else that you want to add to this conversation?
I think you nailed everything, just about the happiness. I think when we began, we were talking about, what we were going to talk about as far as like light and how we can bring joy.
Yeah.
I think that's it right there. You find what it is, you do small steps, don't,
and don't sweat it if you
don't sweat it if you don't. Yeah. And just roll with it and let it flow.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us. I think that was a good talk tonight.
I think now you're just the co-host officially.
Okay, I'll take that.
Welcome to What's Going On. I'm at Litteral.
Okay.
And this is Shaun Newmarch.
Yep.
And this is What's Going On, our WGO.
Yep. And plan on smiling and smiling.
Yeah. Have a good day.